Hey guys, on this video, I'm gonna do a read through of the comic scene. It's just an old comic book magazine from back in the 80s. That was in my brother's collection. He gave it to me when I was a kid. All his old comic books from when he was a kid, a young teen. So this should be pretty cool. My brother passed away last year, so just looking at all his old comic books, it's just really cool, and it brings back a lot of good memories. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. It should be really neat going through all the old stuff that was going on back in the day. So yeah, enjoy the video and let's go through it. All right, guys, so we have the comic scene, issue 3 from the year 1988. And so the first page, you can see the table of contents. You can see an ad for Star Blazers, now available on video cassette. I don't know what that was, probably some anime. It's kind of interesting that the people all look the same here, but whatever. I guess that was released back then, and you can order it. So let's take a look here. Here we got like an ad for Star Trek source book. I think that was some sort of combat game. So these are the figurines for it. Yeah, there were miniature, unassembled, and unpainted, so you got to paint them. So kind of like the Dungeons and Dragons, but only the Star Trek version. I don't know why it says 2003 on there. That's kind of interesting, but I don't know what that's supposed to signify. But anyways, so here we have some letters to the editor. Some Mars Attacks. That's pretty cool. So this is like so they're gonna have like a mini comic book series on Mars Attacks, which is, I always liked Mars Attacks. I thought they were cool. I didn't know until recently that they were Topps cards originally, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. Just some more news about different comics. I thought this was like an interesting comic. It's called Wild Dog, and it's talking about, I don't know like what the actual story. I think he's just like a crime fighter. I never read the comic, but this is an interesting blurb because it's like the creators talking about like anti-censorship stuff and everything. The big thing back in those days was like a lot of like I don't know, they call them morality groups, I think, in this ad, but it's like they're talking about people that basically trying to censor violent comic books, violent video games, and stuff like that. So I remember when I was a kid, that was like a big thing, like Mortal Kombat and everything. And this is actually like, so it's an interview with the screenwriter of the Batman movie from the 80s, going with Jack Nicholson, and as a Joker. So it's just going, because so this was actually not, this wasn't made yet, so there's talking about different news, different speculation on who's gonna see in this. Cause yeah, they didn't even pick Jack Nicholson yet. And so the people that were being considered were Ray Liotta and William Dafoe, which in my opinion, like either one of those guys would have been pretty cool. But I don't know if, I mean, it's hard to say, I guess, sometimes because of Tim Burton's vision of Batman. It wasn't necessarily my favorite version. I know like there's a lot of people that say they love the movie, but I personally didn't really like the movie that much. But anyway, so Yeah, Michael Keaton. He wasn't even cast as Batman yet. They were just speculating like maybe he will be Batman because of Tim Burton. And here's like a little blurb about Tim Burton going around, checking out different locations and stuff. So I don't know what the budget of this movie was. They say in this article it was 20 million. I feel like it was a lot more than that, but who knows? I can't really remember. So just last little blurb about Batman, and then some. This is just like somebody's take on the Avengers and like the comic book and the news about the upcoming storyline of the Avengers. I think there's a series where the Avengers like break up for a while or something like that. So they're just interviewing the creator, and the creator of that was I'm not sure where it says that, but so more comic book news. Willow, translating the magic of Willow. So this is another comic book I never have read, and this is going with the artist just talking about the artist Jean Garrod about making Willow the comic book and his character designs. I guess it's pretty interesting back in the day because this is before the internet, so this was your behind the scenes look. If you wanted to get news, you'd have to wait like a month, or this might have been bi-monthly, but here's another ad for him. I always like the ads. This is like you could order film creature model figures, Freddy Krueger, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Wolfman, the Mummies, sort of like some classic monsters there. And then you got the Terror Dog from the Ghostbusters, King Kong. So there's some really cool stuff. Oh, and I didn't see them. So like Brontosaurus, Triceratops. So I feel like they probably were pretty good quality, but I don't know. Like these ones are like $70. That's back in the 80s, so pretty spendy. And here we have just like a more comic news about a comic book called Total Eclipse. Here's an interview with like artist Jerry Ordway on his work on the Superman comics, some of the work he did in Superman comics. It looked like a pretty in-depth article. And we had like this guy, Jimmy Olsen, or Jack Larson puts aside his bow and tie. So he was like a producer of the Superman from the 50s. So a lot of like a wide range of like topics here. There's a Punisher. It's like when the Punisher first came out. A lot of other comics coming out. Rent-A-Rex, like, this is a comic book that I never read, but I kind of want to check it out because it just seems like a really unique storyline. And I believe according to this, the storyline is like there's some dinosaurs that came from outer space or something like that. They are undercover, which is kind of laughable that dinosaurs would be undercover. And they like work for the government for some sort of peacekeeping thing. So I feel like back in these days, like people had like a lot more creative liberty to just do whatever they imagined, and it wasn't like too much of like cookie cutter, like, well, we want something that somebody will buy. I think people were like more free to just explore and do whatever they wanted. And then here we have like Aliens. This is just like showing different appearances of aliens in different comics and how they were conceptualized in those comics. So it's pretty cool because Aliens actually, like, I'm not a big horror movie type person, but Aliens was one of my favorites in the horror sci-fi genre, especially like being a kid. And I think like the second movie came out when I was like 6 or 7. I never watched it when I was that age, but I saw clips of it when my brothers were watching whenever they rented it. So some more comic news about what's going on. Comic book called Forever Grendel. Not sure what that's about. Nice black and white photo. Here's another cool ad for Fangoria. So I guess, like, you know, it's just interesting because if you wanted to have your gore news, like nowadays you just get on YouTube or, you know, find a YouTuber or look on the internet for whatever you want to see. But back in the day, you know, you'd have to get a magazine, fanzine dedicated to it. So we have Fangoria and Starlog. TV's new Star Trek: The Next Generation. And sort of like one of the last articles here is so they're talking about the Hulk made for TV movie. And what's interesting is, like, so this one has Thor in it. And I have never watched this one. I knew about it, but I have never seen it. It's just cool because there's like a lot of movies that were made by as Lou Ferrigno is. I don't know who is Thor. I don't know who that Eric Kramer's Thor. So I don't know if that's the actor or the creator, but yeah, Eric Kramer's the actor. So yeah, there's a lot of Marvel movies made that just, well, this one was released on TV, but like, there's a lot that were made that were never like released to the theater. A lot of people don't know that, but and here's like another ad for like a poster, like a magazine of posters. So you buy it, they come with like 10 posters. I don't know how big the posters were, but probably not too big. And you can like fold them out. I remember like my sister had like a poster of like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. I wonder where that's at, but yeah, that's cool. Rambo, Rocky, Superman, Aliens. I thought there was like a Freddy Krueger, but I guess not. Yeah, another Gore Zone, another horror magazine. Guaranteed to make your teeth chatter and your flesh crawl. 4 giant bloody posters. How to be a makeup effects artist by John Caglione and Doug Drexler. Found censored splatter scenes from The Fly and Nightmare 3. Movie previews, reviews, and video watchdogs. Just some more news. So this is like going down on a rundown of like what is coming out soon. So you had like the Far Side movie version of the Gary Larson comic panel to be directed by Alive Films production for Columbia release. So it just say like this movie's in development, this movie's been greenlighted, this has been, and it just really wasn't necessarily any type of studio. It's just like, you know, you have the Flintstones, Garfield, Doctor Strange movie, Bob Gale scripting. So Iron Man movie versions proposed. I mean, that'd be cool to see, like, if they had like a movie like ready for Iron Man, like way back then. So that's about it. And this final page is like for a graphic novel called Roxana. So that's the magazine, and I have like a few more that I can go through. That were like, I have one with like the trailers and stuff, so that'd be cool to go through too. Anyway, I think I ripped it a little bit there. So that is the comic scene. Get like blast from the past. Look at like what people were talking about back in 1988. Hope you guys enjoy the video. See you again real soon.